Welcome to the Gounie Podcast and the talks of the town. Interesting chats with interesting people on our very interesting Red Sea shores. On this episode, we talk with Hisham Kharma, renowned Egyptian musician, composer, creative director, and more. We also sit down with Sara Hannig Nour, founder of Sara's Organic Farm, recipient of the UN Best Food Business Award. So stick around, enjoy the talks, and don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. All right, we are back again in the Gounie Podcast, and I am pleased to have in the studio with us our upcoming guest in this edition of the Gounie Podcast, none other than composer, musician, creative director, and generally extraordinary human being, Hisham Kharma. Hisham, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sophie. It's a pleasure being here with you. You're an old-time friend, and I feel at home.
Yes, you are definitely at home. We go way back. And I've made Gounie my home. And you've kind of also made Gounie your home. You've been coming here for a very long time. You're setting up roots here. And we always start the show with the same question. We ask everyone the same question, and it's been interesting. We have different answers from everyone. The word Gounie. When you hear the word Gounie, what comes in the mind of Hisham Kharma? What does a Gounie mean to you?
Chilled, mindfulness, loving life, work-life balance, Sophie. I remember 12 years ago. I cannot believe it. It was 12 years ago when you were telling me I'm thinking of moving to Gounie. So since then, I remember every time I visit, I ask you, Safi, are you happy? Are you? Now, 2 years ago, I decided to start making the move. So I'm between here and Cairo, and it's one of the best decisions I've done. And I don't know if, not everyone knows that most of the big stuff I come up with in terms of music, gymnastics World Cup music that I've done last year, it was all done in Gounie.
Wow.
Yeah,
yes,
it was created here.
You played the opening of the, I think, 2023 Gymnastics World Cup, and that's just one of some of the amazing events that you've done. And I want to kind of move towards the music a little bit now. I'm not sure if many people know that Hisham Kharma was a massive name in the advertising world. And we had I remember many calls that we had where you were like, man, I'm thinking of just, making it music full time. And I'm glad you did, because here you are now, one of the most recognized composers in the country, and I'd say regionally as well. So tell us a bit about the move from the advertising world to the music industry as a full-time musician.
As you know, I've worked in the advertising industry for almost 14 years. Some of the best years, of course, in my career. I worked between here, the US, Germany, and Dubai, from an art director up to a regional executive creative director. The music was always a hobby before starting working in the advertising industry. So when I reached the regional position, in a year of reflecting with myself, I realized that I'm not fully fulfilled. I didn't know it was the music calling me, but I said, okay, it's a typical job where you have a 9-to-5 job and you're not fulfilled, until I was in Dubai. Back then, it was 2014. I attended the concert to the famous Yanni musician.
Of course.
And the fact that it was in Dubai with so many nationalities and he's playing only music, I was in the audience witnessing a dialogue between the artist and so many nationalities, so many races.
And just with the music, without words.
With the music. So I remember I left that day. I said, you know what, I'll quit advertising, I'll quit everything I've done and just fulfill my dream. It was a very difficult decision because I had so many responsibilities. I reached a very good place won so many awards, have so many good relationships with brands and advertising agencies. And I decided I'll just go back to Egypt. I'll have a studio. I'll rent an apartment, build a team, build a band, start working on an album, and I have a buffer of a year and a half. If it works out, I'll just proceed with what's next. If not, I'll just go back to the office and work in the corporate 9-to-5 job.
And thankfully it worked out.
Thankfully it worked out.
Look where we are today.
Yeah.
I mean, you've also been one of the people from the very start, from the get-go, who I believe was truly championing the concept of incorporating our own heritage, our own sort of sounds, Oriental sounds, for the lack of a better word, into a more contemporary sort of music. Where did that thought come from? And you're still on it until today. And how do you feel now that you feel that has become an art form in its own? You know, the concept of Oriental or Oriental fusion music is now a massive brand.
Look, I'm a true believer that everyone has to be authentic and authentic to his own culture, his own sounds when it comes to music. But at the same time, there's universal language. When we're going, for example, in the music, to me, universal is electronic sounds, electronic rhythms, synthesizers. It's something that's not relatable to a culture on its own. So I've always seen so many talented Egyptian artists, but there's a gap between the sound they're delivering and the global sound. So I felt there's an opportunity to try to do this fusion that you just mentioned of how we can use our own sounds and encapsulate it in a universal coating. So I'm happy it worked.
And I'm sure you've offered a lot of local Egyptian musicians and artists the chance to join you on stage. And I know you're one of the artists that takes this point very seriously, and you love the musicians that join you on stage, and you feel responsible. How does it feel? How does it feel offering someone an opportunity? And how does it feel? I mean, you can see the look on their face, you know, after they've pulled off a solo and then the crowd goes crazy for it, you know. How does that make you feel?
Look, I genuinely believe, and it's not just I'm not just saying some BS, بس بجد. I'm a true believer of win-win in anything, in business, in collaborations, in music. So win-win is, okay, I'm an artist, I'm an established artist, I'll have a young artist who needs the opportunity. He comes, to me it's a win-win. He's getting the opportunity, he's taking my music to the next level, the audience is watching something new. So it's a win-win, me, the audience, the new artists, so, and the industry as a whole. So it makes me happy.
I'm glad it does, and it should. Now, staying with the music, I've seen you perform in many different formats, you know, from Hisham solo to Hisham with a full sort of orchestra or band setup, to more recently, we're going to talk about it, Hisham Kharma in the middle of Bayud in the Red Sea with different artists on different boats. How difficult is it to sort of, I want to say, cook the show with it under these different formats? Your process, how different is it doing like a show with a full band versus a show with maybe one or two or a lesser number of musicians?
When I started thinking of my own brand as a musician and the genre and the way the music and the world, how everything is going really fast and every industry is innovating and you cannot be stuck in one thing, I said, you know what, I don't want to be stuck in one genre or one setup. Okay, I have my own persona and own music sound and stamp, but I want to take the fusion concept as the bigger umbrella, because the fusion, if I do anything, if I'm working on a rock sound, next on an electronic sound, in a year I decided to do work on a rap song, at the end of the day it's fusion of sounds, fusion of genres, fusion of
melodies, thoughts, ideas,
languages, working with different industries, like to me working with El Gouna on the Bayut concert or the music video that we will for sure discuss later. To me it's a fusion between music and real estate and destinations and travel and tourism. So I love the umbrella of fusion. So, and I love experimenting. You and I know that artists get bored easily, and you need to be inspired and you need to experiment, and I love experimenting. So I said, and every year I put like an objective or a goal or a drive or a bucket list in my music career. So مثلا I say, okay, I want to work with a full orchestra, and this was the first of course vision I had. Later on, okay, let's work with soloists. It's as if it's 1 hour of improvisation where the audience can feel the music with every musician and every solo. Now I'm working on the destinations approach, like collaborating with destination partners and having either music videos shot in different destinations or having live music sets in destinations. So I love experimenting, and I think this is one of the main reasons that give me a drive to keep going and keep experimenting and keep dealing with the music and the projects as if I'm an artist who's just starting his career on a new chapter. So it gives me this
drive.
Yeah.
Now, experimenting, and this segues perfectly into the next question. You mentioned destinations and working with destinations. You recently released Noor Lib'id, a song that was produced right here in El Gouna and in collaboration with El Gouna. Tell us a bit more about that project, how it came about, how you feel about it. I mean, the video is pretty sick, man. I love it.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure. As I said, the past 2 years I've been working in El Gouna on many of the musical projects. Many of the ideas I worked on was in El Gouna. It's a place that inspires me as an artist. So when I thought of, okay, I want to start working on the destinations concept of partnering every time with destination partner, whether it's a touristic spot or a real estate spot, I said, of course I have to start with El Gouna because it's one of the best spots in Egypt, and
it's the best.
And it inspires me as an artist. So I had a discussion with Ashur.
Yes.
Shout out to Ashur.
Big guy,
and someone who has a vision and great guy. I shared with him the concept and we discussed and we said the main idea was, okay, it's a music video shot in the destination and showing the destination, but not in a real estate kind of advertisement. It's not an advertisement. It's a music video, but in a way you're showing the beauty, the different angle of the destination.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised with the comments actually on the YouTube video. Everyone was, where's the spot? Is this in El Gouna? They didn't know it was in Gouna. We were shooting in the white villas.
Yep.
But we didn't show the typical real estate Gouna shots that are shown in advertisements. So this is why I believe it was successful, because people dealt with it as a music video, and I'm happy that people like the music. And Joanna, the artist that was featured with me in the music video, Joanna Morqos.
I mean, incredible
amazing,
vocal lines.
And she's an amazing talent and human being. So I think people felt the project as a whole, and I'm super glad. And this is what took us to, okay, let's collaborate on what's next. Let's have a music concert in the middle of the sea in Bayut.
Absolutely. I mean, Noor Lib'id, the literal translation is let's go far. and we went as far out
Yes.
as Bayoud for I think it was El Gounie's first ever Bayoud
Yes.
Float Fest.
Yes.
And for those who are unfortunately not there with us, I'm sure you'll get to see some clips and videos of it. But basically, we had a 3-boat stage. You know, you were center stage, synth and gear. You had your guitarist and your percussionist on one side. You had your accompanying artists and vocalists on the other side. How did that feel? I mean, it was a crazy scene. You know, at some point I was just standing there behind you, and I was like, "This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible."
Yes. I'm still overwhelmed, by the way. I'm still waiting for the drone shots to watch how this happened from above, but I was so overwhelmed. The feedback was amazing. The musicians were so happy. The team, it was a team building event as
Absolutely.
well. The audience performing on a boat and watching so many different faces and ages and everyone happy. It was overwhelming, and it was a different experience. And I felt many of my friends and people in Cairo or abroad. It was a perfect FOMO event.
I got a lot of those FOMO texts too.
Yes.
I mean, you say it as simply as, yes, we were performing on boats out in the middle of the sea, but I don't think, if you're not in the sort of events industry, you don't realize the intense amount of logistics, the crazy amount of logistics to
Yes.
make something like that
Yes.
happen. Something as simple as a musician, you're performing on a rocking boat. It was a windy day as well, you know, getting all the speakers sorted, getting the sound to be just right. So I just want to take this opportunity and give a shout out
To the Gounie team.
to the Gounie team for making that happen.
It was 10 days of
full on. They were full power.
yes.
Yeah.
I witnessed that, and it was we got the shout out to the Gounie events team and marketing team and everyone in their team.
You know,
Everyone
there
was
were hundreds of boats out in the water, organized. You know,
Yes.
so that on its own. I mean,
and it was magical because I was telling them, usually when I'm performing at the opera or in an event, and we're behind the curtain and I see the audience approaching, sitting in the chairs and on the chairs and everything, it was magical being in the sound check at the middle of Bayoud and seeing boats approaching, the audience is approaching differently, and it was a magical event.
I mean, I will join you on that one, because you've seen crowds in different formats, whether they're just sat, you know, clapping
Yes.
in an opera or even dancing in a party. But that was new for me, to have a crowd that's, you know, submerged, you know,
Yes.
waist deep in the sea and pretty much partying out there.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
So staying with the music and staying with Nuruh Lib'id, the song, you know, where did the lyrics come from? What is the message of the song, you know, apart from being shot in our gorgeous Red Sea town?
Look, it was nothing intentional. Then because of what's happening in the world and the injustice and everyone was in a low mood everywhere, we said, you know what, summer is approaching, let's have something happy with positive vibes, where we're performing as much as we can, spreading positive vibes. Of course, shot in El Gounie, sunrise, lagoons, the sea, the boats and everything. We said, let's have a feel-good music video. That was the main intention. So we were bouncing. She was in Lebanon, I was in Egypt. We were bouncing back and forth the lyrics, the musical ideas, and it just came because there was good chemistry between us. So it just we went with the flow, and here it is.
Nice.
It's online.
A feel-good video. Speaking of music and feelings, I mean, yes, writing a song designed to make people feel good is one thing, but you've also done a lot of work scoring for TV and film. And that, I'm sure, is a very different challenge, because you're not just trying to evoke feelings of happiness. Sometimes there's sadness, darkness, tension. Tell us a bit about your work in TV and film and how different you find it to write for TV and film versus writing for an on-stage performance?
Look, when you're working on an on-stage performance or an album or a single, it's your own vision. You put the vision. You're responsible of the emotions, the orchestration, the instruments, the arrangements, everything. When it comes to film and TV, there's a writer, there's a director, there's a main vision and story that you need to complement as if you're helping in telling the story musically. So it's another art form that I was so happy to be part of, because it gives you this sense of collaboration. It's all collaborative. Second of all, it expands your musical knowledge and muscles. Like, I'll mention one of the things I worked on and was so happy with, the Suits Arabia, the TV series.
Yes. Big up Esser Yassin.
Esser and everyone did a great job. So Suits was amazing because it was an international format. You had to Egyptianize it, and the same thing goes with the music. So when I had the discussion first with the director and watched a couple of scenes, I felt this needs to go into the genre of funk, jazz, blues with an oriental twist.
Oriental twist, yeah.
So it took me 2 months listening to jazz, funk, blues, and updating my sound library, samples, experimenting, and I even recorded with musicians from abroad, like brass artists that are purely funk musicians. So it was a totally different genre that I'm focusing on. So it expanded my
horizon,
and it helps when you go back on working on your own album. You realize that you learned a lot, so it affects in every way. So working on film and TV, I love it. It's very collaborative, but I'm a bit selective in it.
Okay.
Because it takes 6 months to a year and a half of your life and energy, and I don't want to be working on film and TV for the sake of working on film and TV. I have to feel the project itself and just give my all to the project.
Nice. Nice. Speaking of TV and film, and this might be an interesting question, why would you say there isn't, maybe in the last 10-20 years, there aren't a lot of Egyptian movie soundtracks that are memorable or that have made their mark with people, as opposed to, of course, whether it's European film, whether it's Western film, there are so many pieces of music that have caught on with the people. Would you say the Egyptian TV and film industry doesn't give that much weight to the music that's involved in the production as opposed to maybe Western or European sort of media? I mean, even in Eastern, you've had the rise in Bollywood, and a lot of that music became famous as well. So why don't we have like TV and film music that sticks with people?
I believe part of it is the media is now scattered. Like in the 90s, you had 3-4 channels, 9 to 10 TV series. Now you have platforms, you have so many channels, you have it's scattered.
Okay.
And the big composers, you're now working, like any composer is working on multiple projects. So there are very good names, of course, but I believe if you're working on so many projects at the same time,
it's difficult to give each one your 100%.
Yes,
at the
this
end
is
of
my
the
own
day.
belief.
Yeah. And speaking of giving things your 100%, as a person who's made the bold move from, corporate office sort of 9-to-5 kind of job into a full-time musician, I think most of the musicians out there are sort of part-time musicians. What would you say to someone who's probably thinking, can I make it as a full-time musician? What do I need to do? How do I need to think? How do I need to approach it?
It needs some time. It took me a year and a half working in music, but at the same time part-time in advertising, because if you decide to go full-time with the music, you have to know that you will have to make some compromises.
Yeah, and sacrifices.
Yes. Either you'll work on stuff that you don't want, and at the end it will turn into a job that you might hate and tell yourself, why did I move?
Yeah.
What I did was I said, okay, I'll give myself a buffer, a year and a half, 2 years. I need to still be in advertising as a part-time or even freelancing. And at some point I need to think of my, like, being talented or being an artist is one thing, and managing your talent and art is another thing.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I have to think of myself as an artist who is working on different products. Product could be live performances. You have live performances for the audience and corporate live performances. Scoring for TV, film, commercials is different products, and later on brand endorsements or collaborations is another product. So this is my advice: is you need to be working like
in parallel.
Yeah. But you need to have a vision for yourself as an artist.
You need to know what products you have
Yes,
to offer.
exactly.
You can say, no, I just offer, Mongolian jazz, and then find the people who are best suited in the Mongolian jazz industry.
Exactly.
I love Mongolian jazz, by the way.
And you need to be flexible, not flexible with, not in like I don't mean flexible as in not being authentic to your sound, but flexible is
not to be too rigid.
Yes.
With your limits,
Exactly.
Because you never know, like you mentioned earlier, working with different sounds or different instruments will probably end up widening your horizon and your library of sounds.
And it opened doors, and I think at some point you will have the upper hand of knowing when to work on a project as a commercial project, but at the same time have your passion your own way.
Nice.
Whether it's an album, it's a single, it's a musical, whatever.
Nice. So, album, musical, single, what's next? What's coming up for Hisham Kharma? What can we expect in the near and hopefully long-term future?
I'm working now on the show. Like, we're working on pumping up the show in terms of orchestra, adding immersive elements to the show.
Nice.
Sound, light, VR, augmented reality.
Ooh,
still
interesting.
Still experiment. Like, in discussions now with other artists and other partners. But I want the audience to live the music, not just watch a show and listen to music. I want them to be immersed in the show itself. So this is one of the things I'm working on now. And the other thing is collaborations. I need to keep collaborating with young talents, different artists from everywhere in the world, shooting different destinations. It's a passion. I love traveling. So this is, I think, the two main things I'm focusing on now.
Amazing. Hopefully another collaboration right here on the beautiful Red Sea shores of El Gouna.
Of course, it would be a pleasure.
Mr. Hisham Kharma, it certainly was a pleasure having you on the El Gounie podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to see you on stage again.
Thank you, Saf. It's a pleasure being with you as usual, and hope they like the episode.
I hope they will. I know they will. Thanks, man. See you around.
Thank you. See you.
And cut. All right. We start every episode by asking our guest to kindly look at the center camera and say, El Gounie, action.
El Gounie, Action.
Yes, we are back right here on El Gounie with none other than Sara Hannig Nour. Sara, welcome to El Gounie.
Thank you, Safi.
We start off every show, and this is interesting because as we've been interviewing people, everyone's kind of got a different idea. So I'm going to ask you, the word Gounie, the concept of a Gounie, what does it mean to Sara to be a Gounie?
To me, being a Gounie, it's a good question, actually. I mean, I'm living and breathing Gouna life. And for me, I kind of made it into something that suits me personally. And I think Gouna gives you the freedom to do that. I think being a Gounie means getting work done whilst enjoying life and having a really good balance of being active and healthy, but also getting a lot of things done.
Amazing. And you certainly have gotten a lot of things done here in Gouna. I want to talk a little bit about Sara's organic farm.
Yes.
I mean, that's an incredible project. You guys are listed by the UN. You guys are working with Cartier. There's so much stuff that's been happening. How easy, difficult, how hard is it for you to run the farm while living in Gouna?
Yeah, that was one of the, I get asked that a lot because I was living in Cairo before, and that's where I set up my business, and that's where I was working for 6 or 7 years. And then people are usually surprised that I live in Gouna, people that don't know, because they assume I'm based in Cairo due to my business. But what I always say is I'm actually more productive in Gouna because I waste a lot less time commuting. I actually have more time at hand. I'm also a mother of 2. So in between school runs and the duties I have as a mother and the business that I'm running, I find myself actually really just having more time because I'm not wasting time in the car. I'm saving hours and hours. I'm more productive. I have time to wake up, work out, take care of myself, take care of my kids, and get a lot more work done. So in terms of business, it's worked out in my favor. And I don't think I could have done it anywhere else, to be honest.
And that's one of the things I love about El Gouna. You know that from point X to point Y is always going to take you X amount of time, and that's it, no more.
Exactly. So you end up getting more out of your day. And
where are the farms based, actually?
So Sara's Organic Food, we grow, source, and deliver. So we have our own farm based just outside of Cairo on the Alex Desert Road, where we grow our organic certified vegetables and herbs and a couple of other things. And we work with partner farms that are based all over Egypt. We actually work with a beekeeper here on the Red Sea as well, which is beautiful. I mean, what we don't only deliver or provide a hassle-free service to get fresh premium food in your house, we also kind of give back and highlight these small growers, small producers that are all over Egypt that produce something incredibly tasty and of high quality in an artisanal way. And we bring it to the market. So this is something really special. And for example, this beekeeper that's here on the Red Sea, he's been cultivating, having bees for generations, his father, his grandfather. It's a passion project for him, and I love that. And we have this all over Egypt. We have a date project in the Bahariya Oasis. We have another beekeeping family in Munafeya and a bunch of small farms, so all over the place.
So living here in Gouna, or anywhere in Egypt actually, I can contact you guys and make an order of dates from Bahariya, honey from the Red Sea,
well,
fruit
yeah.
and veg.
I mean, the key is that we kind of provide the quality. We make sure all products have integrity in terms of taste and quality and sustainability. So in the end, it's a one-stop place to get really high quality, tasty food as if it's grown in your own backyard, delivered to your doorstep. And you can do from all over Egypt. We cater to the Red Sea, we cater to Alexandria, we cater to Cairo. Yeah.
Amazing. And I've seen on your farm's social media, you guys do a lot of like activities on the farm, like group activities, group harvests, etc.
Exactly.
How can somebody, because I'm always curious, I'm like, wait a minute, I'd like to go harvest some grapes or pick some fruit or whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a seasonal thing, right?
Yeah. So the idea behind it is that we didn't just want to grow and provide, good food. We also wanted to reconnect people with their food source. So we have these experiences that we host at our farm, about an hour outside of Cairo. And we host regular harvesting events or agricultural experiences for the entire family where you're you're taking a tour of the farm, you're seeing where your food grows. It's amazing to see kids, especially, come from busy city life and like end up picking things, tasting things. And they're definitely seasonal, and there's always a different theme, and it's educational, it's fun, it's outdoors, it connects you to nature, it connects you to your food source. And it's just a whole bunch of fun for the whole family. One of my favorites is the Mango Harvest Festival, which usually comes up.
That's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
early
coming
October.
Up. Are there any like summer harvests, like any crops that are specifically harvested in the summer?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have fruits, a lot of fruits. So the fruit season started in, let's say, April with peaches, and now we have plums, and now we have our grapes, and then mangoes, pomegranates, dates, a whole bunch. So these are the fruits are usually in the summer. So we'll have a grape harvesting event as well, hopefully coming up. And some vegetables are also harvested in the summer.
And if I remember correctly, you guys have been highlighted by the UN.
Yes.
And what's that about? How did that happen?
How did that happen? Oh God, I don't even remember. I think it was, honestly, I don't remember. So, what was it? The UN award for best food business. Yeah, that was like a couple of years ago. So it's about sustainability, and it's about raising awareness and doing something different. I mean, organic agriculture is extremely important because it's a way of making sure that we have a sustainable food source for future generations. It's about taking care of the soil and our natural resources, and if we don't include more organic or at least regenerative agriculture practices in the way we produce food, we will be facing a serious problem of having not enough food for everyone, and also having less quality food, because the quality of the food is directly related to the quality of the soil. So a fruit or a vegetable cannot contain all the nutrients it should if the soil isn't intact. So essentially we're eating fruits and vegetables that have less nutrients that we need to survive.
What about the level of pesticide use? You guys are growing organic, so there's nothing chemical involved in your agriculture.
Yeah, so we actually have two brands. So we have Sara's Organic Food, and we have Lara's Premium Produce. Lara happens to be the name of my firstborn daughter.
AKA DJ Meow Meow.
AKA DJ Meow Meow, our resident kid DJ in El Gounie. Exactly. So the idea was that, yes, we grow organic vegetables and herbs, but we also have a variety of premium fruits that we grow on our farm, and we call them premium because they're not organic certified. They're export quality, and they're grown with regenerative agricultural practices. Getting organic certification is a very costly endeavor, and sometimes it's not as feasible in the market. So we decided, there's the next best thing to organic, which is without pesticides, but sometimes we have to include certain things.
Nutrients for the soil.
Yeah, nutrients that are not only of organic source for the fruits to grow. And we work with partner farms that export. The idea was also that most of the good food gets exported from Egypt. So not just what we grow, but in general, Egypt is a huge market for export. And the best A-class quality produce goes abroad, and what's left for the local market is lower grade stuff. So I was thinking, why don't we just have the amazing things also available for us? That's the idea behind Lara's Premium Produce.
And you've been doing this for years. Do you have a grasp of locally, from an Egypt perspective, how people have been paying more and more attention to the quality of the produce that they eat? Is there a change in that sort of area?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a big change, yeah. So I started this in 2011 when I was living in Cairo, and it was because I wanted to make sure that whatever I was eating was clean, and I realized there was a market need. Other people are also interested in knowing where their food comes from and making sure that it's grown without pesticides and without harmful additives. And at the beginning, there were a lot of question marks, and people didn't trust the word organic at all, because
it takes time.
It takes time, and the laws are quite relaxed. You can just call anything organic without actually being organic, unlike maybe other European countries where it's a bit stricter. But irregardless of that, it's most important to know your source rather than, just trusting a label. But over the years, I definitely seen the market grow. There's a lot more growers that have, entered the picture, that are growing, hydroponic, aquaponic, that are growing unique things to a higher standard. So you can definitely see that the awareness has grown, and the people have become more interested in health in general, health and wellness. It's a growing market, and therefore also care a lot more about what they eat and are looking for products that have integrity and that have, high levels of quality and
care,
nutrition.
made with care and made with love.
Care and made with love. And also, for me, the whole thing was also, I grew up in Switzerland, and my mother comes from a farming background, so I was very much into it since a child. She was growing things were, she was teaching me, what's in season, when is it, when do we eat things. Some things we just don't eat because they're not in season. And that always made a lot of sense. Why do we need to eat grapes in January if the grape season in Egypt, starts May and lasts us all the way almost into October? So why are we importing grapes from Chile that are coated with maybe 14 to 16 different types of chemicals?
Who knows if they're GMO'd or not even?
Yeah, I mean, they're highly treated just to sustain the travel from that far away and then to have a shelf life as well. So eating local means eating, healthier, eating things that are better for the planet and supporting the local growers here.
Exactly.
And we have amazing weather, we have amazing soil, we have amazing conditions for growing. Egypt used to be known as the breadbasket of the world. We have a lot of history.
Yep.
And we should be proud of that and take advantage of it and enjoy it. And
well, I am. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of
yeah.
it. I want to circle back a little bit from sustainable agriculture and amazing weather to sustainable living in El Gouna with its amazing weather. I think you're one of the most active people that I know here in Gouna. You play a multitude of different sports. You dive, you kite, you do a lot of wake surfing. I think we've played basketball together, football together, I think paddle tennis together.
Yeah.
So, and that's a point that I really want to highlight on the show, the importance of being active and living in Gouna at the same time. How would you evaluate that?
Well, yeah, as you said, I'm a very active person. I care about health. I care that I eat well, and I just feel good when I'm active and when I do sports. So being in Gouna, first of all, I have the time to do that because there's just so much more time in the day and everything is accessible and everything is easy to get to. So if I feel like waking up in the morning and going kite surfing before work, I can do that. And I can be at my favorite kite spot within 5-10 minutes with my gear ready to go and have an amazing, 45-minute, hour session, whatever I want, shower, and then head to work. That's amazing. And then in the evening, if I feel like playing paddle tennis, everyone's... There's very many like-minded people here. So you have a group of friends, you have a group of friends for sports, you have a group of friends for going out, you have a group of friends for talking about work, and you get together and we play paddle tennis or we play basketball. And I mean, basketball is very close to my heart. And that is really, I can't believe that this realized for me here in my life in Gouna, because it's something I really wished. I played basketball in high school and then there was never the opportunity to really play again and get people together. So this is something amazing that happened here. We got a beautiful basketball court now, and people get together easily after work and we play. And it's so nice to exercise, have fun, be social in a healthy way, and blow off some steam.
And still realize that home is just 5 minutes away. I'm not going to get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Or it wouldn't be possible logistically almost anywhere else if you have kids, if you have young kids, because bedtimes and kids' needs, and then they're sick and their school and this and whatnot. But you can easily insert these kind of activities anywhere in the day because you're close, and if there's something, you head home, or it's easily arranged. So
and it becomes an easy choice. Should I go play sports for an hour? Yeah, it's fine. It's just right there.
It's right there.
It's not an issue.
Exactly.
Yeah. And trust me, she hustles on the court. You do not want to play against Sara. And if you are, watch out for her elbows, I assure you.
Yeah, blow off steam.
And how important do you think water sports are for the economy of El Gouna? Things like everything from kiting to diving to something as new as dolphin watching, for example. Our local dolphin guru, Angela, we're definitely going to be having her on the show very soon.
Angela is a very dear friend. I'm also actually on the advisory board of her NGO, of Dolphin Watch Alliance, which is amazing. So I've gone out with Angela a lot, and the Red Sea is a big part of our lives here, which is also why I like to support her initiative. It's so important that we preserve this natural beauty that we have right on our doorstep here, and the uniqueness. I mean, she'll tell you all about it. The dolphins that they're here is quite special, actually. And it's lovely to get the kids involved too. So being on the sea, I mean, it's been scientifically proven that living by the sea is healthier for you. And
absolutely.
Is just looking at the sea and the vastness of it makes you calm, makes you centered, makes you relaxed. And I feel so much more grounded when I spend time by the sea, in the sea, on the sea, which is beautiful, and it's such a luxury. I mean, I've been coming here for 14 years plus, living here for 8 years at least now. So I never forget though, every day I see the sea.
The color always blows your mind. Whenever you're out there, like, oh my God, it's so blue. It's so amazing.
It's a treasure. Yeah, and we're super blessed. Yeah.
So the importance of that for the economy of the town.
Yeah. I think it's a big part of it. I mean, we have our local community, but we get a lot of people from abroad. I mean, I have friends visiting all the time, and they come, of course, to see me, but they also come to kitesurf. So I think it's definitely a big reason to come and visit Gounie. We have the kite surfing, we have the wake park, we have snorkeling, we have diving, we have whatever, wind foiling, all the things we have.
Bit of a free diving culture.
We have
kicking
free
off now
diving
as well.
culture as well. And
sport fishing,
and we should have a bigger sailing culture, but I think that's also up and coming now. Yeah. So I think it's a big part. Yeah, it's a big part of the economy of El Gounie to, why not? We should. It's one of the highlights here.
I agree. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the girls. I want to talk about Lara and Taya.
Yes, let's talk about the girls, yeah.
Are they both Gounie born?
They are definitely Gounie babies. I mean, my girls were born in Switzerland, and I think Lara lived 2 years of her life in Cairo, but since the age of 2.5, they've been here, and that was also one of the main reasons I moved to Gounie, because it's the kind of life that I envisioned for my kids. Being free, being outdoors, not having to wear layers of clothing and shoes, and being afraid of being on the street. I mean, I did come from Cairo, but I'm originally from Switzerland, so there was like a big difference between Cairo and Switzerland, and the way I grew up in Switzerland was quite free as well. So I kind of wanted the same thing for the girls, and Gounie is an amazing town for kids to grow up. It gives them so much freedom and independence. My girls are a bit bigger now. They're 8 and 10. So they have the freedom to go out and to, I don't have to be worried about them. It's extremely safe. They can walk or bike to school. They can, hang out with their friends and be outdoors. And they have so many activities that they can choose from, which is also unique. I think when you live here, you notice that Gounie is quite a creative place. You have a lot of artists, you have a lot of creative people, and everyone's willing to kind of share and give back also to the younger generation, which I think is really beautiful. You have professional singers giving lessons, or you have musicians, and you have, people that were competitive in sports. Everyone's just kind of happy to give this knowledge to the younger generation, which is really lovely.
That's a beautiful point, because I've always actually talked about this. The creativity in Gounie, I find that it comes out of a place of comfort. It's a relaxed creativity, as opposed to city-based creativity that's coming out of suffering, and sadness and being in the rat race. So people sort of channel that into a creative channel. But that's what I love about Gounie. The creative minds here, they're chill, they're relaxed. So that's the sort of creativity that they end up endeavoring in.
Yeah, I love that as well. I love that it's relaxed, and I love that it gives opportunities to creative people that are maybe not professional. I mean, I myself as well have discovered my passion for music and singing here in Gounie, and it's because everyone is welcoming and relaxed, and you kind of have the opportunity to discover what you like. And same goes for the kids. I mean, Lara got her first paid gig as a DJ when she was 10 years old at the clubhouse in El Gounie. I don't know, that possibly couldn't have happened anywhere else.
Probably not.
With such a big support system as well. And yeah, that's truly unique about
And again,
Gounie.
the fact that you're more than comfortable. If Laura has a gig somewhere, you'll take her there and then go off, do your thing, and then
I wasn't
come back.
even in town, sadly, but
there you go.
all my friends were there and supporting and taking videos, and it was just beautiful. Yeah.
Back to the girls.
Yeah.
Growing up here, whenever they travel abroad, do you notice a difference between, Red Sea raised kids and, city-born kids or city-bred kids, be them in Cairo or in Switzerland? Do you notice a difference?
Absolutely, yeah. I notice a big difference, and me and my mom friends speak about this a lot. I mean, I can tell you, for example, when we have these experiences at the farm, and of course my kids are used to the farm, or they're used to their Gounie lifestyle of being pretty free and in nature and in touch with the elements. And then we have very city kids coming out, and there's an insect or there's sand or it's hot, and immediately they don't know what to do. They get it throws them off balance right away, whereas my kids would be sitting on the floor, they'd be eating things from the ground, or they'd be all over the place. They'd be much more at ease and relaxed with their environment. And another example is taking them out to a restaurant in Zurich, Switzerland.
That's interesting. I want to hear that.
This one, yeah, it's like sometimes, compared to the other Swiss kids, perhaps in the restaurants, my kids are slightly louder, but not in a negative way. Like, I want them to be confident, and I want them to speak to the waiter, to ask for what they want, not to be shy and not to be timid and not to be too self-aware about every move they make, because they're, in an adult space in a restaurant. So I think because in Gounie everything is open and warm, and all the establishments are quite friendly towards children, waiters are amazing, people are happy to have kids around, versus sometimes in Europe you get the feeling kids are a nuisance, kids are bothersome, kids are too loud, they shouldn't be noticed, they should just kind of sit there and be quiet, That's not the kind of kid I want to raise. I want to raise a kid that can speak up, that can ask for what she wants, that can be confident with adults and express themselves. Yeah.
Wow. Now, with the kids as well, growing up here, do you envision them to maybe go out into the I don't like saying the real world, but do you envision them going out to the real world at some point?
The real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the real world? Gounie is a very real world, and it's a very lovely world to grow up in as a kid. But of course, we want our kids to be exposed to multiple worlds, countries, people, traditions, viewpoints, opinions, to get kind of a rounded picture of everything. So we're fortunate enough to travel with the kids for sure. So they get exposure to that. And surely one day they may they probably will study abroad, surely. I didn't know that we would be staying in Gounie this long until we had our Swiss school that was founded a couple of years ago and is now developing into a fully fledged, kindergarten to year 12 IB and the Swiss Matura school. Yep. So this has kind of allowed us to stay in this amazing place longer, because they're getting an amazing education. But I think at one point, surely they will travel for university, but I think they'll be well equipped to do so the way they were brought up here.
Hopefully they will be. Now, Gounie, back to Gounie. It's growing.
Yes.
And it has been growing. And we've been here for a while, and we're watching that growth. And I guess any growth will come with positives and negatives. What would you say are the positives and the negatives of the growth of Gounie in the past few years?
Yeah, when I first moved to Gounie could often be a ghost town during the week, which had its good sides, it was quiet and not a lot of noise, but also a kind of lack of activities, especially for kids in the beginning. So that was kind of a bit of a downside, but that changed drastically over the past 8 years. And now there's too many activities to choose. It's hard to choose what to do, even, as an adult. There's just so many options. So that's a huge benefit kind of this growth, that we have more people coming and going, more people starting different types of businesses. The kind of offerings that are available now in terms of restaurants and activities and events and also cultural events has grown significantly, which is super, super nice for someone living here, because I think we all enjoy the kind of peace and quiet and low-key, down-to-earth living, but at the same time, we like to be stimulated.
We need that culture. Yeah,
we need culture. We need kind of that life of not of a 20 million people city, but of like a, thriving, alive kind of city. So for me personally, I embrace the growth. I don't mind it. I like it a lot. I like the way the town is developing, and I'm kind of excited to see where it's going. I love that we have our Swiss International School. That's also part of the growth. That wasn't here before. And I'm on the board of that school too, so I'm really invested in it. And I've seen so many families move here because of the school, because before that there were kind of no schooling options in Cairo or also abroad. We have so many families coming from Germany, Switzerland, Austria, I don't know where, moving to Gounie, because Gounie is a lovely place for children, especially during COVID. Everyone was escaping and we had this kind of safe haven here. And people have stayed. So I embrace the growth, and I think it's going in a good direction. Yeah,
I'm glad you think that. And in that forward-looking direction with the growth of El Gounie, what are some things that you would like to see more of in the town as it grows?
What I'd like to see more of.
NBA level basketball court.
NBA level basketball court, for sure. I mean, I have a couple of things on my list. I mean, I would love to have like a wave park, like
nice,
for wake surfing.
Yeah.
I think that just needs to be added to the program, seeing that we're such a water-based.
We've got plenty of lagoons. All we need is a big wave machine.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, it would definitely be awesome.
Right? Yeah, so we want that. Yeah.
What else off the top of your mind, for example?
Off the top of my mind. I mean, I'm not sure actually. What do we want more of? What do you want more of?
What do I want more of? I want an indoor multi-sports,
yes, I was just gonna say
multi-purpose venue.
Yes.
That I mean, I've mentioned this before. We live in a beautiful place, but we are subject to the elements, and those elements can be heat, they can be wind, they can be humidity. And I guess the more we isolate ourselves, then that multi-purpose indoor hall can be used for sporting events, different sporting events, festivals, concerts, weddings, you know. So,
yeah, for sure.
Business plan is about to be kicked off.
Kids, we need it for the kids too. Just an indoor sporting complex would be amazing. Yeah. Even climbing wall, whatever.
Turning it the other way around, with Gounie moving forward, what would you like to see less of?
What would I like to see less of? I don't usually think in those kind of terms, to be honest. What do we like to see less of? I mean, less irresponsible driving on the roads.
There we go. There we go.
Less, I mean, things are well contained, and well managed. But I think that's a big one, just in terms of safety, for our kids as well. Yeah. Because we have this kind of European feeling in this town, and safety is a big one. And it would be nice if we'd have, really good roads and people respecting kind of traffic rules, and just having a safe, continue to have safe roads. Yeah.
I think that'll come,
me too. I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
As it goes on. I want to talk a little bit about the visitors that we get in El Gounie. They're amazing for the economy. They love the place maybe as much as we love the place. But sometimes there are certain behaviors like the irresponsible driving that can sort of, I don't want to say jeopardize, but can put a dent in everyone's enjoyment. So other than the irresponsible driving, what would you kindly ask our visitors to do more of, less of, when they visit our beautiful town?
I would ask our visitors to take better care of, I mean, we have a lot of boating at the going out to islands.
Yep.
I would love it if people that do go out on boats would be more respectful towards the environment and the dolphins, and, you know, consider it when they're leaving things behind on these kind of pristine desert islands.
Yeah.
We get, after busy weekends, a lot of trash in the sea, on the islands, on the beach. So that's really sad to see. You know, I would hope that people would be a little bit more aware and take everything they bring with them back as well, so we can take care of our beautiful nature and the beautiful sea. And I would also ask that everyone loves the dolphins, but we need to really take care with the way we approach them so that they don't get injured, so that we don't disturb their natural behavior. Don't chase dolphins with your boat, you know, don't make a lot of noise, don't jump on top of the dolphins. I mean, all these kind of things.
Don't touch them.
Don't touch the dolphins, you know, don't make all this noise. And that would be dear to my heart. That kills me when I see that, you know, and I don't want to be the annoying person that says, don't do that. Sometimes I do that.
Angry dolphin.
Yeah, don't chase them. Stop. You know, and because they're sleeping, and you can't tell that they're sleeping because they have one eye open and they still move when they're sleeping, and then their sleep gets disturbed, which will disturb their, you know, reproductive activities, and, you know, can lead to decline of a dolphin population, which would be super, super sad. And the reefs, you know, throwing anchors in places you're not supposed to, and damaging things that takes, you know, years and years and years and years to grow, and damaging what makes Gounie and the surrounding seas so beautiful and pristine and unique.
Yeah, it's literally that simple, keeping El Gounie pristine and unique. Mm-hmm. And on that note, safe. Sara, and safe, yes. And on that note, Sara, thank you very much for joining us on El Gounie.
And
we always
Safi.
end it with an El Gounie high five.
Yeah,
yes, there we go.
Amazing.
And
Yay. And that's a wrap. Cool.